Hey, this is Mark, and today I'm just going to be going through some of what's here for data recovery. So I've got a few phones sitting here taken apart. Don't really know much about any of them yet, so we're just going to kind of take them as they come. I know the first two are liquid damage, so start off with this 6S. Clearly has gotten a little bit wet. Just gonna give the board a quick look over. All right, we'll pull these stickers off, see what we look like under there. All right, not too bad under that sticker. Let's see what we got under here. All right, a little bit down here at the bottom. Go ahead and pull off that section of the shield so we can have a better look at what's underneath it. All right, not too bad. Not too bad. This one, hopefully, is going to be recoverable. Looks pretty good. Get some acetone, the old toothbrush. Just brush that corrosion away. Same thing up here. Now, where did my tweezers go? All right, so I can see that one of these two guys looks like crap already. So I could go ahead and knock him off, but I'm just curious if he's making a short to ground. So we'll connect power first. See what it does. Are we going to consume any current? Yes, we are. So as soon as I connect power, I start consuming 3 amps, and I'm going to bet that it is that ugly looking cap. So we'll get the thermal cam up, flip the board over, and let's see. Oh no, we got, that looks like chestnut is getting hot. Wonder why that is. All right. So it was chestnut that was getting hot, not these caps over here. So why would chestnut be the source of a short to ground on main when it looks like it didn't really get water under it? Maybe it did. I mean, there's some liquid over here. I guess we're going to have to pull off chestnut to find out. Yeah, it doesn't really look like it got corroded under there. I don't know, that's kind of weird. Don't normally see Chestnut get like electrical internal damage to him, so kind of weird that he would be the source of my short to ground on main. And the short's still there, so let's see what else gets hot. Aha, it was not Chestnut. It was something on the other side of the board, which I'm going to bet is the big backlight cap. So, since Chestnut is perfectly fine, we're going to go ahead and slap him back on there. All right, come on, little guy. You just go right where I want you to. There we go. You just settle right down into your spot. Good. Good, good, good. All right. So we're going to flip the board over. We're going to take this shield off. And we're going to find a giant liquid damage capacitor under it. All right, well, this is the guy I thought was going to be like totally wrecked. He doesn't look too bad. But these guys, not so good. All right, let's just see if the thermal cam tells us that that's where our problem is. No thinking necessary. Let's just let the thermal cam do all the work for us. All right. See, it's a good thing I consulted with the thermal cam, because it was this ugly bastard over here that I wasn't even looking at earlier. That guy. There's our problem. See? We don't need eyeballs. We don't need brains to think. Just let the thermal cam do all the work for me. Oh boy, that cap was in some bad shape. That thing is just coming out in pieces. Ugh. All right, maybe get in there with some heat and an iron now. See if we can bust up what's left of him. So I don't know if you guys, any of the 16 of you that are watching are trying to talk to me in chat. I'll pull up the chat when I'm done with this and see if I'm missing anything. Probably should have done that first. All right. This guy's really not wanting to come out. Can't be much left of him now. We got to be a few layers down there. All right. Chewed through the middle of that cap. Now let's see. No more short on main. All right. Grab a screen. What is this? A 6S? Got a 6S screen around here somewhere. Sure of it. Seems like something I would have. 6S screen. Come on. There you are. Nope. Nope. That's not a 6S screen. Where'd you go? All right. This one will probably work. Oh, I'm recovering another phone using the test screen that I usually keep here at my station. That's where it went. All right. Let's see. Prompt to boot, we have kind of high current consumption there. And we're not getting any image. So let's consult the thermal cam again. Oh, great and wise thermal camera, tell me what to do. All right, we still got something hot down here. Probably gonna have to dig out this little guy. There we go. He came out a lot easier. Okay, one more time. Are you gonna boot for me now? All right, you look like you're booting. And we have image, but no backlight. All right. Let's see if that's going to be a quick, easy fix. Our backlight pin looks good. Our backlight filter looks good. Our backlight driver has seen better days. But he's underfilled, so water didn't get under him. Let's just check backlight anode line real quick. Backlight anode line seems good. All right, are we getting continuity from there to our backlight pin? Yes, we are. Okay, so it could be that this water damaged screen I'm testing with is bad. Let's see if I can dig out another 6S screen. Come on. Gotta have another 6S screen in here somewhere. I do not. So I'll just grab the one off of this phone I covered earlier. All right. Now we got a known good screen. Let's see if we get backlight. Still, oh, there we go. We got backlight. Now we just need to see this thing boot up and have touch. While we're waiting on that, I will pull up chat. Okay. Abdul thinks the driver is bad. Well, wrong. Greetings, Stella. Hello to all 18 of you. Wow. I think this is the most people I've had watch a live stream at one time. All right, so we just want to see this guy boot up, and then we can move on. So my purpose right now is just to work through this data recovery queue as quickly as possible, get as many things as I can ready to recover, and kind of do some initial diagnosis on anything that seems to be more difficult to pick up later as like a recorded video that I'll do. So this stream should be quick, easy things back to back, or not. Sometimes it doesn't go that way. So I have no idea what's wrong with any of these boards. All I've done is disassemble the phones and start streaming. So I've got an idea what's wrong with this guy. This is going to be liquid damage. Another liquid damage. All right. So we got a lot of liquid damage here. Alex, 100% success rate. Time to shut down the stream. Yeah. No, I just figured I'd stream today because I haven't been uploading a lot and haven't been working a whole lot. I've been dealing with my wife's been dealing with some medical issues, and I have also been dealing with her being in the hospital since January 2nd. So work is piling up, and with 2 small children and hospital visits, I have not been able to work as much as I would like to lately. So when I do have time to work, I generally don't record because that's a pain in the ass. But I figured today I had a bunch of phones taken apart, so why not just do what I've been doing every day, only do it live in front of people so that when I screw up, there's a record of it. Sounds like a great idea, right? Thank you, Jonah. Jonah, I try to be pretty direct in what I do. All right, come on, Shield. You can come off. It'll be okay. There we go. Come on. There we go. All right. And we're going to take off the other shields too, because this one looks like it got a bath from head to toe. So might as well take every shield off, leave no stone unturned. So I used to run these boards through the ultrasonic after taking the shields off, but I've kind of stopped doing that as much lately. And nowadays I really only use the ultrasonic to like clean up if I have a bunch of flux on a board and I just want to get it clean quickly. That's really the only thing I use it for. Because I kind of like working on the board and seeing exactly where the worst areas of corrosion are. I feel like cleaning the board really well before you start working on it can erase some of your clues. But you do want to brush the bulk of the corrosion away. You don't want to have just corrosion caked and caked and caked on there. All right, this board looks like crap, which actually could be a good thing. A lot of times boards that look really bad like this tend to develop a main short really quickly, which then drains the battery pretty quickly and makes it less likely that you end up with electrical damage to chips like NAND and CPU, which render the job unrecoverable. So I think these really corroded jobs, in my opinion, have a higher success rate, even though they look so much worse. Let's see. Is there a reason I do mostly iPhones and only rarely other manufacturers? Actually, this is my stack of non-iPhone jobs to do this week. So I got like 7 of them there. Yeah, I don't do those on my YouTube channel as much. I do some. I'll show some Samsung stuff, but I don't do it as much because it's kind of something I've put a lot of my own time and effort into learning or teaching myself, and I don't think I'm really at the point where I want to just share all of the information that I've gathered. So yeah, that's the reason you'll see a lot more iPhone stuff. I think it's the same way for a lot of people that have put time into learning the Androids. Is the information you get there does not come easily. All right, so this looks like it's in pretty good shape as far as getting the corrosion brushed off. Let's see what it does on DC power. All right, we don't have a main short. Let's see. We prompt to boot. Wow, that might be booting. All right, where is my old SE screen? Now, let's see. Looks like we did get some corrosion near Chestnut and definitely got some near backlight driver. And oh, look at that. Look at that backlight diode just ate up at that end. So I do not expect this to have backlight. But if I can just get image and it boots, well, that's good enough for me. It looked like it might be booting with just a brushing down. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, we do have backlight. So there you have it, kids. All you need to fix every single phone is a toothbrush, a thermal cam, and some tweezers to knock caps off with. And you too can recover data from almost any phone. So go out and get a toothbrush and start fixing phones. That should be the takeaway from this video. All right, you gonna boot for me? You gonna boot and have touch? This screen was not in my known good pile, but yep, it does have touch. Touch is a little wonky, little laggy, but it does have touch and it boots. So we're gonna call that good. All right, score 1 for the toothbrush. Okay, what do we have next? All right. Let's see. This is a iPhone 6s Plus, just doing some quick visual inspection here. No signs of liquid damage or obvious physical damage, like no long screw damage, no like gouges in the board from a screwdriver slipping off or anything weird like that. All right, so next thing after visual inspection, I'm going to check the note. See, what does this person say? It says, while taking a picture, this phone faded to black and screen hasn't worked since. None of the buttons seem to have an effect. The phone is unresponsive, with the exception of the fact that it would vibrate when called. Huh. All right. Took it to place in Bismarck. They think the motherboard is toast. I've checked and made sure all the connections are good, and that shop did the same, but it didn't work. So, sounds like we have a case of iPhone 6s Plus that just suddenly has no image, but does still boot. So, let's just confirm that on DC power. All right, yep, that looks like it's booting. Okay. So let's see, why does a 6s Plus suddenly have no image? Very often it's going to be a cap short on the 5v7 line, like that. All right, so one of those guys is short. We have 1, 2, 3 caps, and then a filter, and then a 4th cap. And so the signal comes from the back of the board chestnut, goes past these 3 caps here, then goes through the filter from this side to that side, and then this cap is also on the line, and the line goes out to the connector right there. So it could be any one of 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Let's see if I can tell which one it is. All right. So I'm gonna say it's not this one, because if it was this one, if the short was after the filter, if the current had to pass through the filter to reach the short, then I would expect the filter to be blown. So then that leaves me 1, 2, 3. I don't know. They all look pretty good. Who could it be? All right, Alex says it's the second to the right of the filter. So filter and then 1, 2, the middle of the 3, and that if he's right, I have to eat the cap. All right. I'm not agreeing to that, but I will try that one first. Whoop. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no, we lost another cap. Oh God. What are we going to do? Okay. We're going to ignore it. That's what we're going to do. Let's see. Nope. Alex, you're wrong. Wrong. All right. I'm choosing next. I'm going to choose this guy for absolutely no reason at all. No rationale here. Just going to pick him. There we go. Got him. All right, now 6S Plus screen. I hate prompting these to boot with the tweezers. Such a pain in the ass. Why you gotta hide the power button connector in here, Apple? And there we go. We got an Apple logo. Let's see. Just checking the chat, see what I missed. Let's see. Limited board view and schematic info for a lot of Android devices. Yes, that's exactly why what information I do have is very hard won through my own experimental research. So not quite ready to just hand that out on YouTube for free. I'm sure you understand. All right, press home to upgrade. Okay, we're going to do that later. Somebody tried an update. My phone has no image. Maybe I should update the software. But all right, so there we go. That is 3 solved, 3 in a row. Holy crap! I'm setting myself up for some failure coming up. Guaranteed. Guaranteed something's going to fail now. All right, what do we got next? We got an iPhone 7 that was sent in board only. So we will first look at the board. All right, so somebody has decided to take this sticker off. All right, we've got some browning of this glue, which means that this has definitely seen some heat. Yeah, somebody has gotten this board hot. All right, anything to watch out for over here? Okay. Everybody looks good. All right, let's check out the back. Okay, no audio IC. All right, noted. Geez, dude, it looks like you were roasting this NAND. What? God, everything is so discolored. Like this, it should not look like this back here. Like this brownish color on everything around the NAND. All right, all right, all right. Let's just get this sticker off and have a look under here. Probably nothing more to see. And then we'll check the note and see what it says. See if it discloses the previous repair attempt. Uh-oh. I think I hear it raining. Oh, crap. All right, I gotta run out and bring the dogs in. Hey, here, come on. Come on. Hey, no, don't shake, no! All right, but get your dried off. Okay, dogs are out of the rain. Now, where were we? All right. Oh, yeah, we were going to check the note. Okay, let's. Note says, was for audio IC repair and suddenly died. Uh-huh. Okay. All right, was for audio IC repair and suddenly died. Yeah, that sounds great. I guess we'll see what suddenly died really means. Okay. No short on main. Prompting to boot. Prompting to boot. I said prompting to boot. And I don't know, it looks like that could be booting. Yeah, that kind of looks like it might be booting. All right. Alex is wondering if I charge for no image or for data recovery. I charge for whatever it was sent in for. So, sight unseen, every phone has a chance of being easy or really hard. And if data is what's important and you send it in for data recovery, you don't get a it was easy discount, just the same as the guy who sends something that I spend months working on, like one I recovered last night that's been here since November and I've probably put 60 hours into. I didn't charge him extra because it was hard. So the easy ones kind of average out with the hard ones. And, in the end, I think everybody pays a reasonable price to get their data back, especially considering that places like Drive Savers charge thousands. All right, let's hook up screen up here and see. I mean, what are the chances that this thing is actually booting and doesn't have a problem? Oh, this is a plus. All right. I bet one possibility here is that this could be running an older iOS where if there's audio problems, the phone will just boot loop, which can be solved simply by updating. It'll stop boot looping. No, nope. This is the other boot loop that happens after you do a bad job at audio IC and you overheat baseband CPU. So that is the baseband CPU boot loop, which can also be solved through an update. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that on to update just to see how that works out. And just make sure. There's a lot of other possible causes for a boot loop that it behaves like that. It's like a 10 or 15 second boot loop. There are many other causes. But some of that changes depending on what iOS the phone is on. So I'm going to go ahead and update it just so that I know that it's on the latest iOS and can then begin troubleshooting hardware problems, with that in mind. All right, so I'm going to hook you up to the computer. Let's see if we can get this in recovery mode. I think my charged battery might be a dead battery now. All right. Come on. All right, hook it up to the charger. It is not charging. All right. Take it back out of this frame and just hook up the dock straight to it. Where is that damn battery? Oh, okay. That battery is being used for an iPhone that's recovering. Give me 1 minute. I gotta just make sure this iTunes backup is done. And it is. So I will steal my good charged battery back for this guy. All right. So, still not charging properly, but it is turning on now. All right. So now we need to get you into the housing again so that I can put you in recovery mode. This makes for some really compelling YouTube content. Watch Mark hunt for parts and put a phone in recovery mode. Ooh, it's exciting. I know what the viewers want. All right, let's see. Are you gonna boot into recovery for me? Okay, yeah. So it's not even up to iOS 13 yet. This has a pretty decent chance of working after an update, a software update. So we'll move on and leave that to update, and we'll see how that goes. Come on. Update iOS 13.3.1. Yes, next, agree. All right. Let's see. What do we got next? That is 4 we've looked at. All right. Next we have another liquid damage. Ooh, and also connector damage. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. Okay. All right. We got some heavy-handed people working on this phone. Okay. Yep. We got many components knocked around. All right. Let's see what the note says. Ooh, it's a long one. Says this device worked normally until it was accidentally dropped. After that, the screen briefly looked normal, but then a few seconds later, strange changing patterns and lines appeared, and then it shut down. Now, when it is plugged into a power supply, the screen will display a white apple, which will go away and then come back over and over. However, with no power connected, the device won't turn on at all. I was able to connect to iTunes via recovery mode and tried to run an update, but it only got so far and then failed. I asked the Apple Store if they had any diagnostics to run, but all they did was look at the SIM slot and say it had water damage by looking at the pink indicator. As I mentioned, The phone stopped working right after it was dropped, but that drop did not involve water. And like this is underlined. He wants you to know, yes, I dropped it in water, but not that time, so water cannot possibly be related. It was working fine beforehand, so if there was ever water in there, it wasn't a factor in its functioning prior to it being dropped. The most important thing I would like to recover is photo and blah, 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 I guess. Lots of, you need stuff recovered. All right, so I do want to point out, in this case, I think the guy's right, that the liquid damage is not related to the problem the phone is having now. But it is entirely possible for a liquid damaged phone to work just fine and just have like a partially compromised capacitor that then a drop fully compromises, and a working phone turns into a non-working phone after a drop. But for this particular phone, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, for this particular phone, I think this is all just heavy-handedness. So my guess is image problems are maybe related to these 3 missing pins. I don't know, maybe. That seems like a good guess. And then his boot looping is going to be related to that filter right there, knocked off. That is the gas gauge filter. So that guy being knocked off is going to cause boot looping if the battery is below, let's say, like 3.7 volts. Because below 3.7 volts, when you get down to like 3.5, 3.2 volts, the battery needs to tell the phone via these gas gauge pins. Battery needs to tell the phone, hey, I don't have enough power to turn on, so why don't you just charge me for a while? And then that'll happen. And then the battery gets up to like 3.7, 3.8 volts and says, oh, hey, I'm good. We can turn on now, right? And then his update probably failed halfway through because the battery probably had enough charge on it to, like when he put it in recovery mode, it was then no longer trying to boot. So it probably sat there for a little bit, charged the battery up enough, but then once he started like loading the software on, that was too much load and drained the battery more quickly than it was charging through that really low amperage computer connection. Anyways, I think his update probably failed part of the way through because of the gas gauge issues. Hopefully that doesn't end up being a problem for data, because you really don't want to interrupt a software update. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, going to just touch up those little pads there, get those ready for my new filter. And going to find my filter. Where did I put those filters? There we go. All right, let's get this gas gauge fixed. Oh, our iPhone 7 Plus failed update with 4013. Ugh, that's the worst. It's not what you want to see. All right, so that one may get put aside to be like a, I'll record while I work on it later. Like I said, all I'm interested in right now is straightforward jobs, because I got these kids coming back from their grandparents in about 40 minutes, and I am trying to get as much work done as I can, because once the kids are here with no wife around, I am not going to be getting any work done at all. 3-year-old and a 5-year-old do not have any patience for daddy needing to do work. Like, Dad, that's not what we do. We play. We play video games. You play dolls. That's what you do. Working from home is great, except that you're at the mercy of the children sometimes. It's really hard to say no to a little 3-year-old girl that just wants you to play with her dollhouse. I don't have the willpower to say, no, honey, I don't want to play with you. I want to go to my office. Just don't have it in me. All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember when I was taking these screws out. We have long screw damage also. So we'll just toss that on the pile. Okay, so we're going to need a new connector. So I'm going to get a new connector. I'm probably going to get a new connector. Oh, it's been so long since I've had to do an iPhone 5S or SE LCD connector. But I gotta have these things in here somewhere. Right? Simply must. And it's been a long time since I've done a connector at all. That kind of stuff tends to stay in New York because it's straightforward, so really anybody up there can do it. They only send Mark the hard stuff. There we go. iPhone 5S LCD connector. Stella says, nice to know an expert like Mark can take 60 hours on a diagnosis. Makes me feel better. Yeah, I mean, that's like nobody that's doing this. I don't care how well edited your videos are, you other YouTube guys. Nobody out there knows everything there is. Like, all of us are constantly learning. And the only way you learn is to take on really challenging things that seem like they're not solvable and approach them in, an analytical, methodical way. And sometimes that takes 60 hours. Sometimes it takes 60 hours and you don't even make any progress. And then, like, you start looking on monster.com to see if there are any construction jobs in your area of the country, because you wonder what you're doing with your life. I mean, not me, but I'm sure there's some people that have done that. So I was gonna like melt this guy off with my hot tweezers, but I think I'm just gonna load him up with some leaded solder and then take him off with some hot air. All right. We're looking good, looking good. And I miss the old days of micro soldering, back when it was like all day long backlights and connectors. Just get a stack of boards that all need connectors and just sit here and knock out like 20 in a couple of hours. Miss those days. Nowadays, you gotta like think about things and research why things fail and try to recreate it. It's so much work. This used to not really be work. This used to be like Zen, just sitting here soldering connector pins, relaxing, no stress. All right, so we got him tacked down. We're going to give him some fresh flux, and we're going to come in, finish him off with some hot air. So last night I spent about 2.5 to 3 hours working on an 8 Plus that was no power, and it was a really weird combination of problems that I have never seen before. But I was able to I was able to get it booting again, but I did not end up finding like the root cause of the fault. So, this wasn't a data job; it was a for the sake of the phone job. So, everything I couldn't just like take stuff off and leave it that way and not care. So, uh, it so basically I spent a lot of time on this job, and ultimately will not be able to invoice it, even though I can get it to turn on and everything appears to be working fine. One thing I know for sure is not going to work is the wireless charging. And then there may be some other functionality that is not going to work on it. But what I did learn in the process was a few different ways that an iPhone 8 can have a hardware-induced boot loop. So, even when you don't fix them, sometimes you learn something, and that kind of makes it worth the time you put into it. Like maybe that knowledge will then help me solve some other boot looping iPhone 8 Plus much more quickly. All right. Now we need a 5S screen again. Let's see if this will boot now. Oh, whoa, whoa. That is a main short. I did not expect there to be a main short. Oh, you know what? While I'm thinking of it, let me stick that filter back on. Or is it a cap? I don't know. I'm sticking it on either way. I think it's a filter. And then we'll figure out why I now have a main short when I did not before. I'm going to have to take this shield off. Wonder if it has anything to do with the liquid damage that so clearly cannot be related to any of the problems in this phone, according to the note. Jillian says, just replace some FPC connectors for fun on all of your data recovery jobs. Then, after the FPC is done, you can feel in your heart it solved the problem. And yeah, get back that feeling of just Nice, easy connector work. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll start doing that. Every data job gets a battery FPC now, just for fun. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm sure your liquid damage was not causing any problems at all. I'm sure that chestnut being caked in corrosion is totally. I got to take a picture just to update this guy's ticket. Like, dude, come on, man. All right, hold on. Give me a minute. Got to get the camera out. Yeah, this was all because of your drop that did not involve water. Like, I get being a little mad at Apple for seeing a red sticker and being like, get the fuck out of here. Um, because a lot of times it's something like, you happen to live in Florida, so all your stickers are always going to be red. Um, but then, there's times like this where Apple was right to tell you to get the fuck out of there. Like, your phone is covered in fucking shit, guy. Like, the problems with this phone had nothing to do with the drop. But maybe maybe Toothbrush is gonna score another point right now. What do you think? Maybe? Maybe. It could happen. It is possible. Toothbrush may win another point. Did Toothbrush win on the SE before? It did, didn't it? It was an SE. All right. Things are looking good for Toothbrush. I think he might get another win in his column. Let's see. Nope. Still got a main short. It's going to have to be a tag team of Toothbrush and Tweezers. Let's see if Tweezers can bring anything to the table here. Let's see if we have a main short on a cap or if it's a chip. If it's a cap, then we can just tag in our buddy Tweezers and solve it. But if it's a chip, we gotta bring Tweezers to the party. We gotta bring flux. We gotta bring hot air. We gotta bring new chips. Can't really call that a win for Tweezers. Woo, that is hot stuff down there. All right, I don't see anything. Trying to make sure that you guys can see what I'm seeing here. All right. All right, clearly whatever is getting hot is under here. All right. Get you off, little shield. Oh, that's making me gag a little. That is disgusting. Wonder what it tastes like. I bet it's salty. All right. I want Tweezers to be able to take credit for this one. So we're going to see, is it the chip that's getting hot? If the chip's not getting hot, then we're going to knock off the cap. All right, it looks like it's that cap on the end. That one that looks terrible. Now what do we got? No more main short. All right. I'm not going to count the not going to count the gas gauge filter and the connector I did on this. We're going to chalk this one up, if it works, to toothbrush and tweezers. Because liquid damage was the real culprit. The rest of this was just incidental technician damage after liquid damage. All right, we got Apple logo, toothbrush and tweezers, only 2 tools you need, and thermal cam. All right. Are you going to boot up and have working touch? Holy crap, we have 33 people watching the stream. That's a new record. I think on when we stream in New York on Jess's channel, she gets like, I don't know, like 300 or something. That kind of makes me nervous. Just, I don't know. I'm I'm a little camera shy, I guess, if I know a lot of people are watching. But 33 people, I'm good with. It's just like 33 of my closest friends. All right. Well, we have no... Oh, yeah, we do. We have touch. It's just laggy. All right. I'm fine with that. Our other one was laggy, too. It might just be the screen. Okay, so another one solved. All right. What do we have next? That's 4 solved so far. And I guess let me look back at this 7 Plus. I'm going to try... I'm going to try doing a different... I'm going to try doing like a DFU update via 3U tools. See if that gives me a different outcome. I may end up... I probably will end up having to pull that baseband CPU. All right, let's get you into DFU mode. All right, we got it in DFU mode. We're going to try a 3U flash retaining user data. All right, and what do we got for fresh phones to look at? Okay, I got a 6S. Clearly some liquid damage. Gonna peel that sticker off, see what's under it. I gotta get a new camera to use for my hands because using my Canon T5i is not ideal. because that camera is intended to be used for still shots, and it just goes to sleep, and the picture quality of the video output through HDMI is not that great. So I need to get a new camera. Maybe I will start saving up my YouTube revenue. So I think I make enough off of YouTube ads in a year to afford like a maybe $400 camera. Maybe I'll just start saving that money instead of spending it on beer. Although I do appreciate you guys out there watching those ads for me, getting me some beer money. All right. Let's see. Gustavo says, Mark, do you consider to swap a board if your troubleshooting did not work? I don't quite. I'm having trouble parsing that. If you could rephrase the question, I'd be happy to answer. Hello, Patiogu. Hello, Bell Slinky from UK, and Proxen from Norway, up in the Arctic. Oh man, if you're north of the Arctic Circle there in Norway, you got like 24 hours of nighttime now? Is that what's going on? That looks pretty shitty. Not that you're from Norway. This cap. Actually, I want to take my wife to visit all of the. Why is the word escaping me? You know, like the cool guys up there: Norway, Finland, Sweden. You guys, the Scandinavian countries. Definitely want to take my wife to visit there sometime soon. All right, let's see what this thing is doing. All right, we are not consuming any current before prompt to boot. After prompting, looks like it could be booting. Let's check the note. It says iPhone 6s shows red for water damage due to the steam in my shower. Additionally, there may be a charging issue. I am stuck in the do loop of white startup screen to powering off and never-ending cycle. Okay, well, he thinks it might have a problem with charging, and he says it's having a problem with boot looping. So it is entirely possible that this has a charging problem and or a gas gauge problem, and is doing like I described with the SE earlier, where it's trying to boot off of a battery that's not fully charged, which will cause a boot loop. So we are gonna see what this does on DC power. All right, another 6S. Here we go. Another 6S that will soon be another success. Hello, Isaac from Israel. Proxen says pitch black. Yes, that's rough, man. You got pitch black for months on end, and then like I guess in the summer you guys have never-ending sun. So I can see why so many people are into metal there. Like you're just sitting there in your dark, warm cabin for 6 months out of the year listening to metal. I get it. That's what I'd be doing. All right, come on. You gonna boot? All right, it looks like we're getting nothing on the screen, and we did have some corrosion at a capacitor right there, who is also on that same 5.7 line that we saw in that 6S Plus earlier. And this guy does tend to fail on the 6S even without being liquid damaged. So before I even check if that line is short, I'm just going to knock him off, see if that makes a difference. All right, we got Apple logo. Now let's see if it's going to boot loop. Patioga says, I forgot Guam. I did not forget Guam. I just neglected to see it with my eyeballs. But now I've seen it. So hello to you in Guam. Proxen says, I can force a hardware to boot to DFU by feeding 1.8 to the forced DFU line. I am aware of that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I feel like it's easier for me to just have the thing in the housing with, you know, the dock connected and power buttons connected and stuff. I guess I've never tried. I'm aware that you can put it in DFU that way, but I've never like made that my method. So I don't know if I would like that better or not, but basically it's like what I'm doing works. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, so we're back to a boot loop. So we had a legit no image problem. Now we have a boot loop, and we don't really have any indication of why. So this is not going to be like the gas gauge related possibility that I mentioned that I was hoping it would be, because that would make it really easy to solve. So I mean, boot looping really sucks. These are kind of part of what I spend time researching right now is what, like, how can I make a phone boot loop and reproduce this kind of behavior so we can start solving some of these that are like a hardware induced boot loop. But you know, for right now, for the stream I'm doing today, not a good candidate. So we're going to say no to him. And move on to the last one that I have taken apart. All right, so here we have another 5SE. The note says, phone locked in white screen with black Apple during 13.3 update. Oh, fucking wonderful. That was what I wanted next, was another boot looping, this time boot looping after software update. Yeah, like, what are the chances of finding a hardware fault on a device that is absolutely pristine, that suddenly boot loops after a software update? The chances are basically zero. You know, solving these kinds of problems is going to be just breaking working phones in every way that I can possibly think of, and you know, recording like what ways can I break it to make it boot loop, and then like going through and fixing every single one of those, you know, ruling all of those possibilities out. But this ultimately, this one is probably going to be like a software didn't complete an update and now there's no hardware fault, but it's just not going to work until a restore, so I probably can't get data. Definitely not going to spend any amount of time on it on this stream. So yeah, I guess that wraps it up then. We looked at 7 devices. 3 are not solved. 4 are solved. Toothbrush did pretty good. Tweezers did pretty good. Thermalcam did pretty good. Didn't have to do a lot of thinking, which is kind of what I wanted, at least for right now. So yeah, I appreciate your advice on that, forcing the DFU. A lot of people don't know that, so I'm glad you brought it up so that you know, maybe some other technicians out there will now be aware. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm going to go get ready for these kids to be home in about 10 minutes. Perfect timing. All right. Yeah, as always, thanks for watching.